Hello everyone, welcome to a basic gear guide for the new gems, gear and weapons. Let's start with the simplest part, gems. Here in Belos, find Rohan, walk up to him, talk to him. Option 3, puzzle trade. There's the gems. Best gems available. These are slightly worse than Lele's, and these are slightly different from Hero King, but they're still good because they are more easily obtainable for spam enchanting, which will be in a later video. Now, onwards to the new sets. On top of Ifrit and Daggers, Invoke, Hyunmu and Sphinx have joined the ranks of the endgame armors. In that order, in fact. Sphinx is now the strongest armor, and with that said, let's go through them. I'm skipping Ifrit though, since the Belos champion set is enough for you to jump straight into Daggers, making it kinda pointless to go through Ifrit. Worth noting for anyone that cares about Nuri though, is that the Ifrit set gives 110% extra jump height, and that's a lot. Starting with Daggers, we've got an extremely class-specific set. It gives a lot of the main stat, and it's different for every class, mainly being strength, magic, stamina, and luck, but also HP for Engie Stars and Star Seekers. This set is worth getting because you're gonna need the accessories, the glasses, and the stockings, especially those stockings, are pretty much the best you're gonna get. And Invoke, Hyunmu, and Sphinx don't have any stockings, so there's no competition. Just, you really should get it. Also worth noting, this is the ally farming set. It gives you an ally boost to every class, and that's how people make money. Basically, just put on 4 pieces of daggers that you can without sacrificing too much damage. Run into daggers, kill stuff for 10 minutes, you've got 500 million. Good job. Another thing worth noting about daggers is those 10% crit rate gloves. If you are stacking crit rate, that's what you're going to do later when you're sacrificing a Sphinx piece for another piece. With bow, which gives the most crit rate, you can go as high as 88%. That's a lot of crit rate. Next up is Invoke. And while the set itself may look like it's bad, and for the most part it pretty much is, it even gives less movement speed than most other sets aside from Daggers. It does have, going for it, the 2000% all stats you get from the full set. And that's why I think it is worth getting, because you're going to need to gear up before you can go on to Hyunmu. Invoke drops from the normal mobs, like pretty much everything in the dungeon, as well as the boss itself, though the boss itself has an abnormally low drop rate. This isn't exclusive to this part, even in the original, it just doesn't drop shit. Hyunmu is actually a generally pretty bad set, since most of the stuff in the endgame does way too much damage for defense to matter, but worth noting are those boots for 2200% magic and strength, and believe it or not, that clip, you'll see why at the end of the video, if you stick around. Not the end, before the weapons part. This, however, is a reason most people just skip Hyunmu. The dungeons are almost the same difficulty, but this set is just one hell of a lot better. Additionally, the big luck effect is at 4 set pieces, not 5, so here's when things get interesting. You can sacrifice 1 Sphinx set piece for 1 set piece of anything else. It might at first seem like the boots are the Dagger's gloves are the best thing, or the Hyunmu boots are the best thing, and while the Dagger's gloves can actually be pretty good if you are trying to just stack raw crit, the Hyunmu bottom actually gives a hell of a lot of damage. I was testing it with GM Azure a few hours ago, and I recorded a bit of it. It increases damage a lot. Static damage is possibly the strongest stat in all of these armors. So, with all that said, full Sphinx should be the best set. Actually, Sphinx with Hyunmu Mountain Boots should be the best set because that's a lot of strength, right? Let's see. 100k crits on this Warsam. That sounds a bit off though. Let's see if physical damage does more than I assumed it did. That's a 300% increase in damage. So, would this make the best armor? Actually... So, with the Zeus Corporation, since I don't have the set piece, we can test. This is full Sphinx. Proof of concept. It's full Sphinx. Crits without the Dagger crit boost are doing about... Okay, the Dagger crit boost is messing things up. But crits without the Dagger crit boost are ranging from 240k to 300 and something k. And with the Hyunmu gear, as can be seen here, his base damage went up by about 70k and the final damage went up to basically double. So this is in the final words. Someone out there may find something else. But for now, I think this might be the best set until further notice. Full Sphinx, but with Hyunmu bottom. Next up comes the plus 20 advanced weapons. From plus 0 to plus 19, they're just the good old advanced weapons. Kinda good at later pluses, but not really comparable with the good enchanted Daggers. However, at plus 20, they just shoot up one hell of a lot in power all at once. And I've actually, with a lot of help from GM Hero, which spawned the items and got me the data, I've got the data for every single weapon at plus 20 right here. In general, these weapons have a lot of things in common. Most of them have 100% minimum damage. Most of them have 10% crit rate and a crit rate increase active effect. Most of them give intermediate mastery, which I think would give about 20% minimum and maximum for most things. And most of the sub-job weapons give 1 level to the ultimate buff. With that said, there's not much else I can say about them, so I'm just going to say farewell now and let the rest of the video roll in silence as the rest of the weapons show up in the list. I'll see you guys some other time, I think.